Hello, Access Pass members. In this quick little deep dive training, we are going to jump into the checkpoints and check-ins little worksheet that you use every 2 weeks for the Time to Thrive coaching session. And I just want to stress, even before we dive into how the sheet works, what it's for, and everything else, the critical importance of measuring and your metrics. It was the great, brilliant business mind Peter Drucker that says, what it gets measured gets managed. In other words, what we measure, what we put time into understanding what the math behind the numbers really is and how those numbers are supposed to grow and what they're supposed to do, then the more we can actually manage that thing towards the goal and achieve what it is we want to achieve, right? And so we're going to dive in just a moment here into what the checkpoints and check-ins list is all about, what goes into that document, how to find those details in your Facebook business suite, et cetera, et cetera. And in the meantime, though, what I want you to do is make sure you've got a pen and paper to write down notes, write down any extra questions you might have too. So if I'm covering something in this quick little 6, 7 minute training and you're not quite sure, right? Just ask a question. You can leave it right here in this training module, or you can send it to us in our Facebook Messenger group, which is the Access Pass Facebook Messenger group. Or you can even email me privately with any type of questions you've got, because I want to make sure you thoroughly understand this sheet. It feels simple, but in all my experience in my, gosh, 20 years in business at this point, what I've realized is that just because you think something might be simple doesn't mean that people don't have nuances that they need to get covered and have explained. So um, the checkpoints and check-ins document is a worksheet that we cover every 2 weeks. I like to run my days Sunday to Saturday, or my weeks, I should say, Sunday to Saturday. So in the date section, that's the way I normally go with it, a 2 week space that is Sunday to Saturday. If you want to run them, Monday to Sunday, whatever works for you. I just know that back in the day when I was using QuickBooks to run reports every week, QuickBooks naturally went Sunday to Saturday week, and so I stuck with it. So use whatever makes the most sense for you. Now, that being said, um, inside this checkpoints and checklists little section here, we have a number of different spots. So I'm going to go over each of those different spots. We're going to dive into what each one of those numbers is for and why we're focused on them. And most importantly, we're going to also unpack where to go and get some of those metrics and where to go and find some of that information inside your social media pages and even in your old goal setting and that type of thing. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so here is the Time to Thrive checkpoints and check-ins worksheet. So every 2 weeks, as I mentioned, we're going to be filling this out. And I'd started off here by mentioning the start date and end date. As I said, I like to run Sunday through Saturday weeks. But if you want to run Monday to Sunday, that's totally up to you. But you're going to put in the start date and the end date. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come down to this next box here, and you should have what your revenue goal. What volume of money did your business bring in over the course of those 2 weeks? Okay. Now we run our Access Pass Time to Thrive check-ins or Time to Thrive coaching sessions on Thursdays. So this would be the previous 2 weeks. Okay. So right up to that point, what was the revenue goal that you wanted to hit? Was it $5,000? Was it $10,000? Was it $50,000? Was it $100,000? Whatever it was, doesn't matter. What was that revenue goal you wanted to hit over those 2 weeks? And what revenue did you hit? So let's say your goal was $10,000. Maybe you hit $12,000. Congratulations, you pulled it off. Excellent. Okay. Next section here. What was your sales goal? So how many sales did you make? Not the revenue number, but how many sales. So if your product is $1,000 and you sold 12 of them, which made you 12 grand, you would have a sales goal, right? Or that, let's say your goal was $10,000, I should say, and you had a product that was $1,000, your sales goal would be 10, right? You had made, in our previous example, you wanted to make 10,000, you sold 12, right? Sales made was 12 instead of 10. Great. And what was the average value per sale? Now, for some of you, you don't have a wide array of products. For some of you, you do, right? In my marketing company, right, with Thank You Media, and basically our product variety is pretty thin. We have Access Pass, and we've got our bigger offer, right? So we have Access Pass and bigger offer, which is essentially sort of a do it done with you VIP offer. And we only have two products. So whatever our average value would be the difference between those two. In my pet business, for example, we've got thousands of products. So sales goal, how many sales did you make? And the average value, okay, is going to be the sales made or the revenue hit divided by the sales made. So if the revenue hit was 12,000, but the sales made was 24, the average value would be 500. Pardon me. Does that make sense, you guys? Or if you only had the one product and it was $1,000, your average value would be $1,000. So this is just trying to figure out as you grow your business, and in some cases you've got multiple products, focusing on your average cart value or average customer sale is a great way of improving, okay, how much actual money you start to make over time without having to focus solely on increasing the customer volume. So, for example, in my pet business, when I first did this process, our average sale value, pardon me, was about $38. And that was about, let's say, I would say 10 years ago now, when I first started going through this measuring process. That number now is about $52. Right? So without necessarily having to increase the amount of customers we get through the door, we have still increased the amount of revenue we make by significantly increasing the quote unquote cart value or basket value of a per client transaction. So that's why we measure those two things. Okay. For some of you, it's going to be a critical number. For some of you, it's going to be relatively anecdotal. Okay. So let's jump back to the sheet. Leads and leads goal and leads collected. So, how many leads did you want? Now, a lead, okay, is someone who's raised their hand and said, I'm interested in your product or your service, but they haven't bought yet. So, they're not a customer, they are a lead, okay? And this isn't about people who interacted with you. This isn't about, pardon me, business cards you've collected, or someone says, oh, that's interesting. This is about people who have genuinely expressed interest in your business and in doing business with you. Okay. So every single 2 week period, you should have a leads goal. So whether that's 2, 3, 4, 50, 60, 100, 250, it's going to be based on your business, what type of business model you have. But ultimately, your leads goal is a number here. And then you want to measure how many leads you've collected. Now, for some of you, this is going to suddenly reveal that you might not know how to measure the leads that you've collected. Important thing to figure out, right? So now inside your business, there's going to have to be some sort of system that you go, okay, this is how I know I've collected a lead. Now, for a lot of you, you have access to Hourglass, our software. So this could be someone that's downloaded a lead magnet, or they've started an SMS conversation with you or a messenger conversation with you. There could be a number of different ways they become a quote unquote lead. Okay. But now's the time to start making some decisions about what qualifies as a lead for my business and how am I going to quantify that. And in my particular, here's my here's my rule of thumb for that. A lead is someone who has exchanged their contact information with your company and said, I want to know more. That's a lead. Okay. So whether that's a networking lead, whether that's a lead from social media, whether that's a referral lead, any of those all count. And they should all go into what you want your leads goal to be, and they should all go into what your leads collected is. Okay. So if you got any questions about that, please feel free to send me a message, as I said, or access the chat on Facebook Messenger with the whole group, because that's going to be how we measure the results for leads collected. Okay. So let's go to the next section. So now we have Facebook KPIs and Instagram KPIs. I had a great question from one of our clients the other day. She said, Michael, what is a KPI? So a KPI is key performance indicator. So these are essentially leading numbers that show a direction for our company. Okay. So in this particular case, the Access Pass program is based on content to cash, which is a system of doing your content on Facebook and Instagram. You can use it for LinkedIn, you can use it for YouTube, you can use it for other platforms, but we focus on Facebook and Instagram. It's a way of doing your content and sort of what I call doing broadcast ads or monetizing those posts that you're making and generating leads from your content, turning your content into a cash stream into clients. Okay. So the checkpoints and check-ins is going to be measuring how well your content to cash system is working. And with Access Pass, that's what you get, right? You get all the different pieces that we use for our VIP clients, and you just get access to all of them so you can implement this whole system on your own. Now, we want to dive into your Facebook page to unpack your Facebook and Instagram KPIs. It's all there in your Meta Business Suite. Okay. So we have three main things that we want to measure: reach, engagement, and new follows. All of these, okay, we're using as what we call leading indicators that your business is going to grow, if not already growing, that your marketing is working. Okay. So they are a predictive measure of how much impact your marketing is having. Bookkeeping and accounting, those are what you would call lagging indicators. Looking at your revenue goal and your sales and leads, et cetera, these are all what you would call lagging indicators. So these are indicating where your business was over the last 2 weeks, whereas your Facebook and Instagram KPIs are going to indicate where it's going. So they're leading indicators. Lagging was what has happened, leading where we're going. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to my Facebook page and show you how to find the Facebook and Instagram KPIs so that you can put those directly into your checkpoints and check-in sheet. Okay, so just give me one moment. We're going to pop back over there right now. Okay, so here we are inside my Facebook account. All right, move my little head picture over there. So here we are. I'm at my main Facebook screen. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to access these numbers. Now, before I do that, though, I just want you to remember, okay, these are critical elements of measuring how successful your social media marketing is. And that's entirely what the content to cash system is based on. Now, there's lots of ways of marketing, you guys, right? But that's what the content to cash system is based on, is your social media marketing. So what you'll find is in our coaching sessions, we're going to talk about all sorts of different marketing, all sorts of different ways of measuring these things, all sorts of different types of going out and attracting leads to you. But for the checkpoints and check-ins, we're measuring specifically social media marketing. Okay. So let's dive in. So from here, okay, what we want to do is we want to sign into our business account. All right. If you don't have a Facebook business page, you need to start one, my friend. That's critical. Okay. So I'm going to start out by going over to my Facebook business page. It's Michael Bridgman right here. So we're going to click to there. And it's going to load up my Facebook business page. So looks the same. It's a news feed. Woohoo. Okay. But here is my Facebook business page. Now, let me make sure here. We need to go to your Facebook business suite. Okay. So we actually go to it by going here. So you click, once again, go back. You're going to click on this to take you to your main page. Okay. And we're going to go to Meta Business Suite. And it's actually going to load a whole new window. Okay, so here we are. Now, the reason we go here, okay, is because we can see all the metrics for both Instagram and Facebook all in one place. All right. So from this screen over here, you're going to go over to Insights. Now, I have not been active on my page in a couple of months. All right. So for those of you who know, I've had some significant health challenges the last few months. So I haven't been active on my page whatsoever. All right. But my broadcast ads have still been active. Okay. And my content is still there. So even though I have not made an actual post to my business page, you can still see the activity on that page without even posting anything. This is the power of what the content to cash system is doing. So let's take a look. We want reach, interaction, and follows. That's what we're looking for. Reach, interaction, or engagement, and follows. So here we are in this page, okay? And this is for Facebook. Up here, you can switch between the two. And right here, you're getting the dates. Okay, so it's a 28-day period. Now, right here, reach. So this is views, 6.1 thousand views on my content. Okay, and it's a little bit down from my followers, a little bit up from non-followers because of the way I've set up my system. And here's the number we're looking for. What's the reach? 4.6 thousand in reach. Most of it from non-followers, which isn't a bad thing. Okay, so that's new people seeing my stuff. So if I was looking at my KPI sheet, let's jump over there for a second. If I was looking at my KPI sheet, my reach over here would be 4.6 thousand. Okay, that's what it would be, 4.6 thousand. 4,600. All right, let's go back to Meta Business Suite. There we go. What will be next? Interactions, right? Net interactions, only 100. So as I said, I have not been driving much in the way of attempted engagement on this page over the last 28 days, but I still generated 100 interactions on my posts. Okay, didn't touch it. So I put down 100 in the interactions or engagement section. And then follows, okay, 136. Okay, so 136 follows. So that is what the volume of follows that I got. So my net follows was 136. I'm not really wondering what this 168 is bizarre. I don't know what that's all about. But 136 is my net follows. Okay, so if I was to go over once again to checkpoints and check-ins, right here, engagement would be 100, new follows would be 136. And I just want to reiterate, this is me not touching my Facebook page in, it's probably been 90 days, maybe longer. Let me go check. Let's go check. When was my last post? When was my last piece of content? Right over here, you can check content. So on Instagram, I posted a little bit. Okay, you can see those are Instagram posts. These are all Instagram posts. So that's being still published, but nothing on the actual Facebook page. Let's see. Yeah, for quite some time. For quite some time. So it's been a wee bit of a while. We can probably check this way. There you go. March the 17th. That was the last time I physically posted on this page. There you go. March the 17th. Okay. So let's go back to Insights as I digress a bit, and let's go to Instagram. Boom. So now the number is going to change. I don't have a very big Instagram following, and I haven't monetized myself as much on Instagram lately. So here we go. What was my reach? 44 reach on Instagram in the last 28 days. So once again, we jump over to the sheet and we put down 44. Interactions, 32. That's up quite a bit from what it was the previous month. And I've got 5 new followers on Instagram. All once again, we would go over to the checkpoints and check-ins and we put that in here. So reach was 44, so this would be 44. Engagement was 32, so this would be 32, and new follows would be 5. 5, yes. Okay. So that is exactly how you would fill this information out. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you exactly how to find it one more time. Okay. So let's go back and find it one more time. Share it here again. Okay. So once again, I'm going to close this out. So you are on your regular Facebook account. Okay. And I know some of you have watched this, et cetera, et cetera. So you're on your regular Facebook feed. You could pause and go back to the video. I'm just going to recap this one more time. So here we are, regular Facebook feed. Go over to your business page. Okay, so it's going to load your business page. You're going to go to your actual page itself. And once you're in the page itself, you're going to go over to Meta Business Suite. It's going to open up in a new window. Okay, and then you're going to go to Insights. Boom. And now you're going to have your numbers. Facebook numbers last 28 days. Instagram numbers the last 28 days. Okay, that's exactly how to find out this information. Now, if you have any questions about this or where to find this info, as I said, go to that Facebook group chat that we're all in, that messenger chat. You can ask your questions there. Feel free to leave a comment on this video, and I'm always going to be looking at the comments, so I'll check them there. Or, right, you can send me an email. Okay, so team@thankyouMediaGroup.com. Once again, team@thankyouMediaGroup.com is my email. I will find that, and you can come to me if you have any questions. All right. Now, last but not least is the final part of the checkpoints and check-ins, and this is the wins and challenges section here at the bottom. So I always want to know, okay, and you should always want to know, what was a big win in the last 2 weeks? What really, really went well? Business is often a game of momentum, you guys, right? The confidence to keep striding forward even when it seems difficult is built on momentum. An object, and when moving, is far, far, far more powerful than an object stationary. So you want to be building momentum and moving. All right. So, what wins did you have in this past week? Let's document them so you can go back and look at them later so that you've got that state. You feel those wins even in the Time to Thrive coaching session. But then also, what challenged you? What was standing in your way from success? What bogged you down in the last few weeks? Okay, put those in there too, because of course we use those in our roundtable coaching sessions right inside Time to Thrive. Okay, so make sure you take a few minutes and think about what were your wins and what were your challenges for the week. All right, or 2 weeks, I should say, 2 weeks. Okay, everybody. So that is how you use the checkpoints and check-ins document. Right here in the training, you'll see that document available, so you can download that PDF and it's right there available for you. And I just want to say this is one of the most important parts about ramping up your business, right? Continuously focusing on these indicating numbers, these KPIs, your revenue goals, et cetera, et cetera. It's what great business owners do, regardless of whatever stage of business they're at. They're constantly looking at their numbers to make sure that things are on track with their goals and their objectives. And that's what this spreadsheet or this little worksheet helps you do every single 2 weeks. All right, my friends, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to move on to the next video, there's more training to come. Okay, ciao for now.